And even if you're not offended by it personally, like what will you do as an attendee?
I for sure 100% will not be standing up and dancing along with the host. And that actually is what is quite more shocking to me. There, like what you say, seem to be people who are off stage who are dancing along and cheering and everything.
Maybe they were like, hey, hello, get off.
They were trying to, that's what the waving is.
Hey, hello, stop.
And then they thought they were cheering and then they just continued.
Then you're like, oh my God, people like it, oh my God.
Yeah. Quick update. Since we first told you about our Words of Wisdom project, an initiative to capture 60 Singaporean seniors' life stories as podcasts, we've already completed the first 20 recordings. These 20 seniors are from all walks of life: coaches, academics, civil servants, and many others. The good news is, you can still be a part of this once-in-a-generation project. If you know a Singaporean above 60 with an unforgettable life story, nominate them to be interviewed and have their words of wisdom captured forever. And if you, yes, you listening, are that Singaporean with that life story, please nominate yourself. Click on the link in the episode description to find out more or to listen to some of the completed recordings. Each recording takes only 30 minutes, but the lessons left behind will last for a lifetime. And now, on to the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
Has it been a humorous week?
Been trying to find the humor in it, right? But I mean, okay lah. We had Selena Tan on the podcast this week, right? I mean, she came last week, but she was out this week, and good laughs and good cheer from that episode.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the first time we were having a conversation like that with her before. And yeah, she's kudos to her for building up Dream Academy to what it is, man.
Correct. And just a little side add-on is that, if you listen to the episode, there's actually a promo code for Yalabat listeners, special promo code for Yalabat listeners to get a discount on Dim Sum Dolly tickets. So if you actually want to watch it, haven't bought tickets, do check it out.
Yeah, and this is the show 60 Sexy Years, which is playing from in December. I think the second week of December.
Yeah.
Host of shows, I think, selling out fast. But just pop on over if you can.
Yeah, hopefully you can see you all there. Right?
Hopefully, man.
Yeah. But other than that, the stuff going on around in Singapore, how's it felt?
I mean, a bit like, can tell like things are slowing down. I mean, we mentioned this on the podcast already, but now it's like with the weather, I think Singapore's going to hit a new lowest temperature of all time.
Yeah.
Because we're not even in December yet. Yeah. And typically January is when it gets really cold.
Yeah, we've visited a couple of offices, like corporate offices, in the last few days, right?
Yeah.
Everything just feels like, people are not here on holiday. Only one person in the team is around. That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the meetings also, the pace also is a bit more time to, talk and like nobody's rushing off.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I like it. I like it. But at the same time, we are getting quite busy in December. We're the reverse. But
for good reason.
We're here to entertain, right? We are like gladiators in the arena.
Yeah.
We're here to entertain.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
To inform as well and to hopefully cause some thoughts.
Correct.
Which, I mean, we do have a couple of interesting topics. I wouldn't say not the most academic, but fun.
Fun. I live for this kind of topics.
Yeah, correct.
Because, like if you really want to cover say income allowance or that, I think we are not experts, right?
And you have to do a lot of research.
A lot of talking, a lot of
reading,
understanding of things that we never understood before.
Yeah.
These two topics, I feel like we're pretty good at talking about.
It's like festive topics, It's the holiday season topics.
This one's like the bat signal came on like that when these two topics came out.
Oh, man. It's going to be a fun time. But before that, what is our spiel, Terrence?
Please like, share, follow, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That really helps us and, does us a big favor in terms of getting more people to jump on the Yalabat bandwagon.
And if you want to work with us, reach out to us at ministryoffunny.com, drop us a message there, or email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right, let's jump into it. I know you've been itching to talk about this. No, okay, both topics.
Both topics.
I know you have been itching to talk about this
one is itchier than the other.
One is definitely itchier than the other, but still very interesting.
Yeah. So the first topic is news that just dropped this past few days. It concerns a series of videos that was uploaded on TikTok that showed the POV of someone who was in their house and kind of being requested by HSA officers at his doorstep to enter his house to check for suspected possession of vapes.
Yeah.
And HSA, stands for the Health Sciences Authority. I think over the past year, there's been a lot of talk about the concern around vapes. I think even in May, there was a debate in Parliament where, HSA was reviewing penalties to strengthen deterrence against vaping in Singapore. Then you have all these stats like 8,000 vaping-related offences in 2023, up 40% from the year before. We don't even know what's the total number for 2024. So it's becoming a concern. And I remember that the Tobacco Control of Advertisements and Sale Act of 1993 does have some details about how HSA officers can enter premises if they suspect possession of tobacco and I guess e-vapes. But then when this one came out and you watch the videos, it's a bit funny. And it's a bit controversial and polarizing. But what made you want to talk about this, Terence?
I mean, it's just the headline. You see the headline alone. It doesn't sound that controversial because what you mentioned, the law does allow it. But when you actually go down to the details and you watch the video, then you realize the law is one thing, but the execution and enforcement is another thing that gives people a very different perspective on this, how HSA officers can just barge into your house, right? So that's why I thought it's actually, this warrants discussion because it's also about a little bit of discussion about privacy in Singapore, right? Whether, is there overreach by some agencies in terms of being able to, walk in your house like this?
Your house.
But you, why are you so fascinated by this?
I mean, at one point I thought, same thing, when I saw the title, I was like, this at least feels like you can almost consider both sides. But then when you watch the video, you're like, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about it. So the moment I saw the videos, I was sold on a potential topic for Yala. But
But I mean, you have to give a warning first. If you're going to watch the videos on TikTok, right, from that account of the person, I think his name is Rapper Boya, right?
Yeah.
Rapper Boy A or Rapper Boya. It's TikTok. It's a TikTok account, right?
Yeah.
So do not expect it to be like a typical YouTube video with very normal structure to it and things like that. It's really like off the cuff TikTok kind of content, right?
Yeah.
Very short form, appeals to younger people. So as an older person like you and I, or it might feel a bit like you got to check your brain at the door a bit more, right?
Yeah. But I mean, for me, it felt like, wait, is this scripted or not? Is this a skit? And I think that was one of the first threads that went viral on Reddit where someone posted a video and said, is this real?
Yeah, correct.
Because just to sum up, I think there were 5 parts or 6 parts that this guy uploaded.
Yeah.
It almost feels like he's milking it for content and
it's got millions of views, right?
Yeah, it got millions of views. But essentially, over the course of it, is from he's holding the phone, talking to these people who show up. So first 2 gentlemen show up wearing kind of like casual attire. Kind of saying, we are from the HSA. Do you own a vape or something along those lines? He's like, no. So can you let us in? We want to search your house.
Yeah.
So it almost felt like just bad acting. Then there was back and forth and the person holding the camera said no. Then in the subsequent video, there were police officers who were with the 2 gentlemen outside, kind of taking a stern stance towards Rapper Boya, saying, do you understand why they're here? And what's not? And then Rapper Boya pointed out that some flyer that the 2 first men put. And then after that, in the subsequent things, the first gentleman showed Rapper Boya the act, the Section 29 of the Tobacco Act. They came in and then he still recorded what happened. They came in and some of his colleagues were searching the place, asking for his wife's ID and asking for his phone.
Yeah.
And I think it ended at like part 5 or part 6. So it's almost like a mini series.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So then I found like, shit, it almost feels like someone's final year project or something.
Yeah.
Or Crime Watch, reenacting Crime Watch.
Yeah. I'll admit the first time I saw the HSA officer's face, at first glance, I thought it was Jackie, the comedian, acting as it or something. Got that look like.
Shout out to Jackie. And that's totally something Jackie would do.
Yeah, exactly. Jackie has acted in wrestling storylines and stuff like that.
Acted in our TV series as well.
Yeah.
So okay, after you watch those videos, right? Did you have any? You mentioned that it reveals a lot about the privacy in Singapore and what the powers can do,
Yeah.
But what did you think of?
I think the big thing for me is what strikes me is how unprepared the HSA officers looked. Right. Like what you said, they came in plain clothes. The guy didn't even have a lanyard on, right, with his HSA credentials on it. He was, also struggling to put on a body cam at the same time while talking to the guy. So it just felt like, why, if you're going to conduct a search in someone's house and knock on their door and do it, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you come at least with, the lanyard, your documentation, and also your body cam prepared, right?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's quite a big thing to ask to search someone's house, and I think you, as someone who works for the agency, you should also protect yourself with body cam and stuff. So I was very surprised that he was struggling to put all these things on while trying to talk to the person and all, and it just felt like whether the procedures, maybe the checklist or what, wasn't followed in place before he went in and knocked on the door.
Yeah.
So I was quite surprised that it would look like that. He would act like this because if you are any regular person and someone walks up to you without any identification and says they want to come and search your house, you would naturally be a bit skeptical at first, right?
Yeah.
You should be a bit skeptical at first, especially these days with scammers and everything.
Yeah.
So I felt like, hey, there's something that definitely they can improve on.
Yeah. And it's damn weird. You watch it, it really did look like a scammer. And I mean, he really looked like a scammer. And when HSA was queried, right, according to them, these officers who work in, these sort of undercover investigations are not required to wear uniforms so as not to draw attention to themselves in carrying out their surveillance and enforcement activities. Okay, understand. But at the same time, in this climate, right, maybe 10 years ago when people were a bit more trusting of people showing up to their door, it might have worked. But in this case, it looked damn unprofessional. And if I was the guy, I would totally not let these people into my house.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure the same for you also, right?
Yeah.
And then in the second video, when the two police officers came, it almost looked like they were adults in a childish fight.
Squabble
because they were, okay, you understand who these people are? You know why they're here? Then Rapper Boy responded. Then Rapper Boy said something about why they put flyer. Then the police asked the two people, did you put a flyer?
Yeah.
I put a flyer. Yeah. Where's the flyer? Then it became this kind of thing like, hello, you're HSA officers, no? You look like you just went for lunch at on a weekend or something.
To clarify, I think the flyer thing is also interesting because basically the HSA officers said they put a flyer there because they had come and knocked on his door before, but there was no answer. So they put a flyer there to sort of test to see if there really is still someone living in the house. And if the flyer disappears, then they know that someone actually lives there. So I think they put a flyer that wasn't even related to HSA. It was like a PAP or the PA
President's Committee or something.
Yeah, something to do with the grassroots or what. They put that flyer, which had nothing to do with HSA.
Oh, it was the announcement for Kaki Bukit Community Club's official opening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that the HSA officer actually explained this almost as a modus operandi for how they do it, right?
Yeah.
To the police officers. So I'm like, what? This is the way that they do it. It just sounds so, not prepared, unprofessional.
Yeah, I mean, in some way, when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, actually, that's quite smart, It's a covert way of testing whether someone's home. But to say it when you're obviously being recorded, it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
I mean, even the policeman, when questioning him, he was almost I think he wanted to laugh. His face had a smile, hey, this flyer yours, why you put this flyer there, like that,
And then when the HSA officer was responding, he was looking down, like the student cannot caught for cheating or something. He's like, yeah, this one just to see if someone's home. So you look at that, you're like, oh, allow it.
Yeah.
Because have you ever been stopped at an MRT, be asked for identification or
not? Not me. No.
Yeah, don't worry.
My Chinese privilege. I don't have. I
If
know
you
you
say
want to bring
yes,
it up.
I'll be like, hey, Darren, don't give me shit.
No, I haven't. I have not. No, but I've been asked to open my bag and get my bags checked. Yeah.
Oh, but that's by the uncle or auntie
Yeah,
at the MRT.
Auntie at the MRT. Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Like, there've been at least 2 or 3 times where I'm walking outside of the gantry, in the MRT, and just these 3 young officers or something come up to me, excuse me, can we check your ID? And I was like, why? And then they said, no, we just want to check. And I would argue back. I'll be like, can you tell me why? Then at the end, it's always a spot check, spot check. Then I'll press. In the end, like, because they're wearing uniform, at least a bit more legit, I'll still give but I'll say, I don't understand why you are selecting me, and this is not fair and this is not even my house. So if it was a house where someone wants to come into your house, it's just shocking how unprepared they are.
Yeah.
And it feels like, even for HSA, when you're deciding the protocol or modus operandi for your officers, how could you not understand that there will be pushback against behavior like this?
So, I mentioned that the TikTok account of this person is, is not exactly top tier premium content or anything like that. But at the same time, I think his videos also bring up a good point, right? That, if someone comes up to you claiming to be from a certain authority and all, should you just roll over and open the gate for them, right? And in this day and age, like you said, with scammers and everything, because don't think about young people, but think about older people who are losing their life savings to scammers and things like that. And think about how sophisticated scammers are today. Those that call you, video call you wearing police uniform and things like that. You have to train everyone to be skeptical about any kind of person who claims to be of authority. And if your communications ministry and all is trying so hard to do that already, but on the same side, your HSA officers are, barely getting the protocol right now, right? I think there's a bit of disconnect there. And I think that this Rapper Boyer's videos really show you that there is this disconnect that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Because, even recently, right, I think now everyone is quite desensitized to those scam calls where you pick up and you hear like an automated message, or when you see a shady number. A few weeks ago, I got one of the most realistic scam calls I've got ever. And it was someone who was saying he's from Sing Cert. And it was a real person. I was having a conversation with him, and then he was telling me that my ID has been released or detected for nefarious activity in Malaysia by the Malaysian Interpol department. Then I said, wait, you're from where? Sing Cert. So Sing Cert, there is an actual organization in Singapore. And then I said, okay, do you have any proof? He said, you can come down to our office. I give you our address. I'll be here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, shit, is this real? And the only thing that I found out is a scam is when I Google his name and read it. And someone posted, okay, there's someone who will say he is this from Sing Cert, Singaporean, he sounds like it. And I was like, oh shit, this scam was quite legit. Because very openly saying, you can come down to the office. We are located at 120 Tanjong Pagar or some shit like that.
But to do what? To get what?
To if I didn't believe him.
Oh, okay.
Like I could come and see their records of my ID being used in Malaysia or something. And they said they have all the records. Then I was like, then after that I said, then after that I saw the Reddit thread and I saw some advisory from CSA Singapore. Then I was like, oh shit, this is a scam. But the level of scam is only going to get higher.
Correct.
So when it looks at this, but maybe it's also because generally a lot of people would still be open to letting someone into their house as long as they have something that looks somewhat legit.
And that's quite scary. Because it has happened to me before. Even in our office, someone has knocked on our door and then claimed to be from some fire safety something and wearing a lanyard and waving it in my face and sounds very official, right? So I thought, oh, it was like some fire safety check or something like that for how fireproof your office is. So I was like, okay, just come in. He comes in, takes a look around, and he turns to me and says, oh, okay, we just checked, your fire extinguisher is expiring. And then the Singapore Civil Defence requires a fire extinguisher to be renewed every how many years. Now I'm like, I think at that point, alarm bells started going off in my head. One, because I was like, oh shit, am I violating some fire safety protocol. But also two is, wait, am I going to get in trouble for this right? And the guy was very authoritative about it all. But after a while, I started to, I just pushed a bit more. Then I realized like he wasn't even from like any official agency. He was like from a private limited company that sold fire extinguishers. And basically, they were just trying to pressure people into buying fire extinguishers under the guise of like, oh, you are breaking some law. And don't take it from me. It happened to a relative of mine, older lady and all. And she ended up buying the fire extinguishers from these people for her house. Yeah. So it's a real problem that it's out there that people use the guise of authority to, as nefarious sales tactics. And I'm not saying that these HSA officers are not doing their job or they're trying to con people, but I think we need a population of people who are a bit more skeptical of these kind of things. If we want to inoculate ourselves against stupid scams, right?
Yeah, because I mean, when he did let them in, they really asked, I need to check your phone. Give me your phone. What's your wife's ID? You got SingPass or IC or not? Yeah. It's very, very invasive.
Yeah.
And this is all just as long as they suspect, no?
Yeah.
If you are in possession of a vape or something, they suspect it, they can they have a warrant to search your house.
But apparently, like they did see this TikTok user use vapes on his TikTok channel on social media, right?
Yeah.
And then that was grounds for, I think, coming to check.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if the law states it as such, you can disagree with the law, but law is the law. But these people, they didn't even have like a warrant on hand that they could show. The guy had to pull up the Section 29 on his phone.
Yeah. But they don't need a warrant, you see, right? That's the rule.
Okay, yeah, they don't need a warrant, that's true. Actually, officers can enter premises without a warrant to enforce laws on e-vaporizers. Okay, so I stand corrected. But it just feels like, how are they supposed to expect people to be like, okay, let me in just based on you wearing a fucking Uniqlo outfit?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man, like, it just feels weird. But at the same time, I'm not familiar with what the rules are generally for police to enter your home. I think it's quite all-encompassing, right? If they suspect something, they can enter, right?
If there's suspicion of a crime, I think, yeah.
Of a crime, they can. But that's as a police officer, in uniform or even outside of uniform.
Correct, yeah. So, I mean, people are saying, shouldn't the HSA officers be wearing uniform? But at the same time, HSA fired back, right? Saying that to do the enforcement, it's kind of, you need to be undercover. True. In some way, paraphrasing them.
Because you see them take the lift, you're like, fuck.
Yeah. And you run back and hide everything, right?
Hey, throw the vape.
But you think that there's any workaround around that?
No, I think they can be casually dressed and all. They just need to have some way to verify that they are real and not a scam. Because, okay, let's say, for example, like if I were to show up at your door and you don't know me, I'm like, okay, Terence, we have a suspicion of you possessing a vape.
Yeah.
I am from HSA. I need to come in and check your house. What will you say?
Sorry, can you show me your identification?
Yeah, okay. Then I'll take out my identification. And a lanyard, it says, Harish Tilani, HSA officer, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, is this enough?
No, then I'll say, can I call the HSA to verify? Is there something somewhere I can call, an official authority I can call
can.
to verify this? Yeah.
Okay, can. You call my boss. Okay.
No, not a boss. I'm saying like a hotline of a government website or something.
But how you verify is a government number?
That's where you can give me the details.
Yeah.
And it will take a while, right? We will call. If not, can call the police to do it, I think it's actually reasonable to say that, hey, if you want to come in my house and search my house, I would be more comfortable if there was law enforcers at the same time.
That means you call 999.
Yeah, because if you really can't verify, if you really have no way of verifying whether these people are real, if let's say they're scammers, they would probably be also like, oh, you're going to call police, I better get out here, right? But if the police come, they're still here, it shows, okay, maybe they're legit.
But you'll be clogging up the lines for actual, emergencies.
Correct, and that's where I think then it's it's HSA that needs to do something about this, right?
Yeah.
Where it becomes clearer, or the protocol is clearer, such that there's no doubt, or there's some way to really verify with HSA that these are HSA officers, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like here it was just too like, oh, yeah, look at my
that's
past.
fair, man.
Yeah, I got body cam. I I can do all this. I show you this on my phone. It's that kind of thing where it just feels like too casual.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, in some way, like, I know sometimes, when you key in a .gov.sg website, there is like, checking, verify the link and all. I don't know whether they had this in person, but it feels like it's about time.
Maybe some SingPass things, like something SingPass.
Or basically like an official app, you know, they got Hungry Go Where. No, not Hungry Go Where. They got Budget Go Where, Mask Go Where. They're like Scammer Go Where or something you know.
Exactly.
So then every officer of the government has a pass with a QR code and you can scan that. And then you verify with the face and shit like that.
Exactly.
If the PAP can launch an app, right? Lately they launched an app. Just launch something like this and have like everybody like it's in people's best interest to download it. Because SingPass, I don't know, there might be additional stuff to go around, but if it's just verification, right? Sounds totally doable.
Correct.
Right. So another brilliant idea that's come out of this podcast, dear government.
GovTech, please.
GovTech. Get to work.
Maybe there is, but it's just not publicized, right? People don't know about it.
Yeah. But it just feels like an easy problem, a very urgent problem to solve, especially with so much money and comms around, protecting yourself from scammers. It just feels like there needs to be something for this.
Correct. But speaking of easy or maybe urgent problems to solve, this one is, I think, it's an invitation for you, Harish, to shine, right? To really talk about this and let the world know what you think about this.
Actually, just now when I said the one topic is itchier than the other, actually this is not an itch. This is a scab. It's scar tissue.
I see.
Because it's been like itchy for so many years, then it almost feels like, okay, this is just part of my body now. It's a permanent mark.
Yeah.
And
floor is yours, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that, I genuinely don't enjoy talking about these kind of things. But the reality is, people still do stupid ass shit. And I think on 14th November, a video was uploaded on 24th November that showed what went down at a dinner and dance event by UOL, the property, big ass property company. The theme of the night was the rhythm of the night. It was held at MBS, at the Sands Grand Ballroom. But the video...
Was it at MBS?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, MBS. But the video showed that basically a group of individuals, I think there were 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, dancing on stage to the song Blame It on the Boogie, which was a song released in 1978 by Jackson 5.
Okay.
And they were dressed in, retro tracksuits, afro wigs, and blackface. And people in the crowd, hands up and dancing like that.
Were people in the crowd hands up dancing?
Yeah. You can see in the video.
You see it on the screen of the video, right?
On the screen of the video, meaning?
There was a screen in the backdrop, and the screen shows a clip of people dancing. But you look at the people in the foreground, sitting in the seats.
Oh, okay,
sitting there. So I'm asking you, do you verify that what you saw on the video screen is video of people dancing?
But then what is the video of the people dancing there? Is it shadows?
No, it could be a generic, it could be generically like some stock footage of people dancing, right?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And this is silhouettes in the foreground, right?
Are there even silhouettes in the foreground?
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are... No, God, got people in the crowd.
Dancing.
Like clapping hands.
Okay, clapping. Okay.
Okay, this one I don't think is added. I think the camera was from behind and there were people dancing. If you look at the video closely,
okay.
I know you're trying to find a technicality where you're saying I'm going off, taking a leap and all. But you look at the video, you can see. Of course, there are other people just sitting around and all.
Yeah.
But it felt like, there were at least a handful of people participating in this.
It looked like it.
Yeah, looked like it, right?
Yeah.
So, Terrence, it did happen. Stop trying to gaslight me, you piece of shit.
No, I'm just trying to make sure we got all the bases covered.
Yeah, bases covered.
Because remember, the last time we had a very extended discussion about this was about the LeBron James mask.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. The food delivery, the RI boy dressed as a food delivery rider.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of flack for providing alternative explanation, I would say.
Yeah. That was in July this year.
Yes.
So coming back to this, I mean, UOL has since apologized, and they said that what did they say? We sincerely apologize for any offense caused. There's been no details about the people in the photo, whether they were employees or whether any action has been taken against them. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
November 2024, and a group of 8 individuals donned blackface at a dinner and dance night. All right, so I've set the context.
Yeah.
Well, what's your take, Terence?
Well, the real butt of the situation is okay. This one, I think, let's put this side by side with the RI, that one, right? The RI one, again, that one, he was wearing a LeBron James mask. I just got to keep emphasizing it's a LeBron James mask. This one is very clear that they have painted their own faces with, dark colored paint, right? It's to me a much clearer, like, this is like blackface, right? The LeBron James one, I still like, okay,
You want to bring up the RI thing? Let's not go there, Terence.
No, we have to go there because I think people say, this happens a lot, and they usually say, that was the last time it happened. I remember in between there was an incident of a car salesman, but that one was really like brain dead kind of person and content, right?
Yeah.
But this one is like, it's part of an institution, a big institution, an event at a big institution by a big institution. And the shocking things, nobody out of the 8 who were doing it thought it was a bad idea. Nobody in the audience who was dancing along thought it was a bad idea. So that's where I think, unlike the RI one, this is not defensible, right?
Yeah. And whichever way you look at it, and like going back to your point about how no one thought it was a bad idea, to do this blackface thing, right? You need to go through many steps, no? You have to get face paint, right? And then you have to get together either as a group or smaller groups and put the face paint on your face.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to the hotel. And then you have to mingle around with everyone else dressed up.
Yeah.
And then you have to go on stage. I don't know whether they were awarded anything for best dressed or anything.
Yeah.
But it feels like, oh my God, how is this still happening? Right. But then it also made me think, in the run up to the US presidential election, there were some clips online that kind of showed how many Americans are ignorant enough to not even know that Joe Biden was not running anymore. And like around the world on the internet, you're like, oh my God, people commenting, oh my God, Americans are so stupid, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think this is the equivalent in Singapore, where you still get dumbasses like this who just are not aware, even if they think there's nothing wrong, right?
Yeah.
Who are just not aware that this kind of thing is not cool. And it shocks me. And I think I'm almost desensitized to it already.
But there are comments online, of people questioning why the offense? Why take offense? Don't import Western culture into Singapore and all the wokeism and everything, right? Like, because Singapore, I think the argument there that you hear a lot from, people who say that this is not an act of racism. The argument is that the racial tension between white people and black people that exists in the US does not exist here. So why bring it here and be offended by what is a very light-hearted portrayal of like from one race to another, right? Because I grew up in a time when Singapore, all races made fun of each other. We just laugh it off and move on, right? Do you think that's a valid argument? Because remember, ultimately, Lee Hsien Loong, our ex-prime minister, has said wokeism is a problem, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, right, this thing has been happening so much and I'm so desensitized to it that, like, you asked me to explain why is it wrong. It just feels so wrong, but like, I almost even forgot the explanation why it's wrong.
Yeah.
But because, I mean, okay, it's one of these things that the thing about blackface in particular is it is a darker skin tone, right? Yes, the rivalry between white and blacks is not as apparent in Singapore because those populations are not that big, but it's still the darker skin tone. And you do get minority groups of darker skin all around the world.
Yeah.
So this, yes, there's still a difference, but it feels like, okay, it's down to skin tone again. And and just it's almost caricaturing the skin tone for levity lah, for fun lah.
So, question.
Yeah.
If they did everything as they did, but without painting their faces black, is that okay?
I think so. Even though they will probably get calls for cultural appropriation for the afro lah.
Really?
I don't know.
Afro also cannot.
I don't know.
Then,
So
then
for
I
me-
mean, but there are Asians with afros, as we know, like
correct,
smiling afro and all that.
Yeah, so for me, without blackface, it's fine.
Okay, without
Yeah,
blackface,
I'm just
okay.
saying on the extreme and there will be people who will confirm make noise lah. You can never make anyone happy. But without blackface, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to clarify, I think they are trying to, if you look at the Blame It on the Boogie, which is the name of the song, it's a Jackson 5 video, lah, right? And you watch the video, Jackson 5, they all had afros and they were, dancing along and everything, kind of like what you see in the video here, lah.
Yeah.
So they were trying to very faithfully recreate what they probably watched in the video, but took it a step too far, lah.
Yeah.
And maybe not with the outright intention to be racist, but definitely insensitive, lah, right?
Yeah, because let's say if it was trying to kind of like depict the rulers of ancient China, the Qing dynasty or something, and there's a group of non-Chinese people who try to replicate it or reenact it by adopting physical traits that are more common to the Chinese race, lah. So skin color, yes, but other physical traits, right?
Slanty eyes.
I mean, something like that, lah. You know, and they made themselves look that way.
Yeah.
How would you feel about it?
Wait, so what if I told you that I wasn't offended by seeing that?
By seeing that,
Yeah. I was at a D&D and they did that and I'm not offended.
with the
Let's say you and I at the same D&D and you did that on stage. Yeah.
For the Qing dynasty.
Yeah. And if I say I wasn't offended, then what would you say?
Then I'll be I think there's one context there also that needs to be acknowledged, lah. That there is that majority minority thing, lah. And I think because you come from the majority, you have the majority advantage, which is a thing, I think it's hard to deny that. These sort of like things, I think, are less of an issue because it is the minority doing it for the majority. To me, it's still an issue.
Yeah.
Right. But I can see why some people might be, but big deal, like we still have an advantage for a lot of things. Subconsciously, they might think that.
Yeah.
So I think that dynamic needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah. So I for me, it would just be Singapore is a multi-racial, multicultural place.
Yeah.
And these things need to be handled with more sensitivity. So like you want to depict another race and all that, I think you need to check yourself first, right? Majority, minority, advantage, privilege, all these words are terms we use to describe it. But at the end of the day, I think when it comes to anything related to race, because Singapore is a very different place in terms of how we are a bit more of a multicultural, multiracial society and have lived more harmoniously than other countries with different ethnicities have, right? We should guard that more carefully,
Yeah.
And from that instance, like regardless of what my personal feelings are about it, I think the organizers or people around them, their bosses or whatever, should have a firmer hand on these things going on. But here's my question. If you were there at this D&D, sitting in the audience and all, and this started to happen, this dance on stage started to happen around you, what can you do? What can you do other than just posting on the internet and being, like...
Oh, you mean like you're having your roast chicken, you look up and like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. What can you do? Like, let's go at different levels. If you're just like a low-level employee sitting there eating dinner, what can you do?
I mean, there'll be some way you can escalate it.
Okay,
it doesn't need to be at that moment.
Yeah.
But it's something like what you pointed out. I think the organizers, the company, they do need to be more wary of this. So however the platform is and all, and even if I find it like so stupid and I don't give a shit, these kind of things are very sensitive, So you escalate it.
So complain to the dinner D&D committee.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Did or HR or something like that.
Yeah.
At that moment, I don't know, like after that, when they come off stage and all, just go, so guys, what gave you the idea for this? Do you think there's no issue here?
So you're saying confront them, the people who dance?
Just ask her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would love to just go there. And I say confront, not just like want to fight already,
Yeah.
Just ask them, okay, so what gave you this idea? Do you not see an issue with this? And I would be very curious to hear the answer. I genuinely want to talk to any of these 8 people to ask them, yo, did even the slightest part of you feel like, okay, this maybe not the most kosher?
Okay.
Apart from that,
okay, Then how about if you were, let's say, you are part of the D&D organizing committee, and you were completely blindsided by this group suddenly appearing on stage wearing blackface. Like, what would you have done? Call them, like, stop the performance, get them off stage.
Wow, that one tough. I think at that moment it's tough to react. But I think then you can also make sure that this is called out internally.
Yeah.
I don't know what disciplinary action can take and all. But there must be some consequence lah. Yeah. But at that moment it's a bit hard. You don't want to go on stage, hey guys, then you give them wet wipes or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But like for you, like in those two situations, let's say you were like in the case where there were people depicting the Chinese race, with physical traits and all. And even if you're not offended by it personally, like what will you do as an attendee?
I for sure, 100%, will not be standing up and dancing along with the host. And that actually is what is quite more shocking to me. There, like what you say, seem to be people who are off stage who are dancing along and cheering and everything to this group of people dancing.
Yeah.
Because the performers maybe, even if you be charitable to them, give them the benefit of a doubt. They got lost in the whole performance. They all like, oh yeah, this is such a great idea, and they just didn't think about what it looked like to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
But they're in the middle of a performance, right? They're in that mindset. Maybe they had blind spots. But if you're off stage, you should be able to see this and how it feels and how it looks, and at least don't be complicit in making it feel like it's okay, right?
Maybe they were like, hey, hello, get off.
They were trying to come on. That's what the waving is.
Hey, hello, stop.
And then they thought they were cheering, and then they just continued.
Oh my god, people like it. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I think the very least is maybe even walk out or something like it's
walk out, huh?
I mean, if it's something that you feel is you also don't want to be associated with it fully, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, everyone who's at this D&D is implicated in this,
Yeah.
Just by the mere act of sitting there watching this, you become part of the punchline already,
Then if you were part of the D&D committee,
I would try to stop the performance if I could, Yeah. Like whether it's like just telling a DJ to cut the thing short or something like that. No?
But kind of like say, okay, guys, can you please go off stage or something? That's not cool or something.
I'm sure if an experienced host or something, who's present, they would be able to rectify the situation. Sorry, some technical difficulties or something like right. There's some ways to do it without feeling like the whole night just goes kaput, right?
But even if the whole night goes kaput, is that a bad thing? Okay, I mean, there are people who are innocent.
Yeah.
But this kind of thing is like, it just feels, then it makes me think, what kind of company is UOL? Right, it's obviously very dominated by a certain race, right? I would assume. Then I have all these thoughts on like UOL.
But why you assume though?
Because, like what you said, there are people in the audience who are clapping and thinking that this is totally fine.
Just now you said that it could have been a generational thing also, right?
I didn't say it was a generational thing.
As in older boomers, right?
I mean, I can't imagine many darker skinned people being like, hey, what's up? This is so awesome and all.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, there you can, but I think cannot immediately assume that UOL is just made up of majority.
No, because the thing is, in some way, like the problem with this is that they are kind of taking one aspect of a particular race.
Yeah.
And kind of making that the defining characteristic and stereotyping everyone to look that way, that skin tone, right?
Correct.
So in some way, then I do the same thing. You behave like this, so I'm assuming that your company is like that. Because
that doesn't make sense, right?
I mean, in some sense,
but it's not even saying, they're not even necessarily talking about Malays or Indian people here, you see.
Okay, true lah. But maybe that wasn't the most logical leap. But yeah, I would still feel like, okay, this company is majority Chinese.
That's your feeling lah.
That's my feeling. And it's a dangerous feeling because it's doing a stereotype lah.
So
but that's my reaction.
That maybe the anger or what is It's making you assume things about the company.
That's why this kind of shit is not good lah, because it causes like a reaction like, hey, well, like in what mind, like what sort of demographic is the company made of? So again, it might be totally inaccurate, but it results in sentiments like that, which is dangerous lah.
Okay, I just wanted to caveat that.
I appreciate that, and so that's when people get like angry lah, you know, stupid ass shit.
But that's where these things. I mean, the apology didn't help lah, right? We sincerely apologize for any offense caused lah, right?
Yeah.
It shows that I think the problem there, I mean, we talked about a lot about this before. When you say that I apologize for offense caused, it feels you shouldn't be apologizing for how people feel about it. You should be apologizing for the action that you did, right?
Yeah.
That caused people to feel it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about this apology that's so stuck out. It's very tone deaf.
I mean, anyone who's been in a relationship before, you're like, I'm sorry you're hurt.
Yeah. You know how that goes.
Get into big trouble.
Yeah.
You cannot say, I'm sorry you feel sad, you know.
Correct.
Shut up.
So, what punishment needs to be meted out to, you know, whether the people or the organizers of this? I'm saying internally within the company. So I'm not saying like, you know, necessarily there was any crime or anything, but I'm just saying you are the management of this company and all, and you've seen something that unsavory that has happened on your premises at your event and all. What is the appropriate punishment for something like that?
Make each of them hold like, you know, weekly presentations on racial harmony, race relations. Have them go on multiple excursions to the areas in Singapore with many minorities. You know, just like present. Just tell them, okay, each of you need to come up with a presentation on why blackface is a problem. That's your homework. You go and do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, what else can you punish them? I think the Maintenance of Religious Harmony Act, that's very extreme, lah. You know, is this really seditious? I mean, it's not very clear cut, lah. But you make them do shit like that, lah.
Yeah, correct. I agree, lah. At the end of the day, it's about education and awareness. But I think maybe it just requires a stronger statement from the company about how they're going to rectify or counsel the people involved, right? Because it's clearly that they don't think about the multi-racial, multicultural aspect of Singapore's racial harmony, right?
Yeah.
Or Singapore's social fabric. So it's regardless whether or not you think this is wokeism and all, it will, you know, rile people up in some ways, and that's something. Then that's where you need to be more sensitive.
Yeah, and I think it's just a reminder that as much as you think, oh, Singapore is a developed country, you know, everyone is, you know, like really understands the sensitivities of race relations. No, I think every country will have people who are ignorant. And doesn't mean you're ignorant in one thing, you're stupid or you're dumb. It's just you're ignorant.
Yeah.
And I think we cannot forget that. There will always be people who will be ignorant. Not just in the US, in every freaking country.
Yeah.
Case in point.
And I think this one makes it worse because it looks like they're almost celebrating, right? They're so happy doing this.
They're just blaming it on the boogie. You know, like what you said. They were so caught up.
Yeah, blame it on the boogie.
The boogie got me. The boogie got me. I can't. Yeah.
I can't help this camel. This camel cream is coming out. It's coming out.
I gotta blame it on the boogie. Yeah. Fucking idiots. Blame it on the boogie.
Oh man. So Oh, one thing I did want to ask is, people say, but last time army you also wear camel cream, what? And then there's also black color. Then you're gonna call that blackface. How? What do you say about that?
Okay, first of all, I can't remember any time the camo was like the requirement was to use all of one color, right? But even then, that one, like, there's a very clear reason why you do it. You know, it is to camouflage yourself in the night, and, you know, break up the contours of your face with the shadows and all that kind of stuff. I don't know whether the camo cream now also is not supposed to be black, it's dark green or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I want. And I think in the past there was, I can't remember, I don't think there was any instance of that being tied to racism or something in my experience. I don't know how it is now.
Yeah.
But that one still feels like there's a technical reason.
Function to it.
There's a function.
Yeah.
You can blame it on the need for total defense or something lah.
Yeah.
Not the boogie lah.
This one tough. The only plausible thing is maybe they painted their face with like a certain color. Then you know, like how sometimes when you put sunscreen or something on your face, and it ends up being so white or something like that. It just like because you didn't rub through it properly or something. That's the only explanation I can see is that they painted their face a different color and then somehow the color like turned black or faded or something. Maybe they put avocados on their face, which oxidizes and turns black over time.
Or maybe they tripped and fell into a pit of charcoal, is it? Maybe Terrence.
Yeah. So that's completely not plausible. So
maybe
it's not an excuse.
Oh, idiots. Idiots. But yeah, that's what it is today.
Yeah.
That's the world of today.
That's the world of today.
The world of today.
So, speaking of world of today, what is your one Shiok comment for today?
A one Shiok comment was a little message sent to us on the ministryoffunny.com website. And because it was a private message, I won't reveal the name of the person.
Correct.
But they were very sweet. They said, "Hi, Harish and Terrence. I just wanted to send a heartfelt note to thank you both for the incredible work you do on Yala But. And now tell you first. Since moving to Singapore 3 years ago, your podcast has been a constant companion in helping me understand how Singaporeans think while making me laugh and smile on so many occasions. Your unique mix of humor and insight has both been eye-opening and entertaining. I know your primary audience is Singaporeans, but I wanted you to know that there are expats like me who also listen and enjoy what you do. Your work connects beyond borders, and I'm grateful for the light and laughter you bring to my days. Thank you for everything. Please keep it up." So sweet. Thank you so much. If you're listening, you know who you are. But yeah, it was just a very nice message.
Yeah, it's nice to know that the stuff we talk about, even though it's like based in Singapore and all that, like non-Singaporeans, expatriates all can connect with it also.
Yeah.
And it gives them an insight to that not all Singaporeans like to wear blackface and dance.
Exactly. Yeah. And she also said during a recent flight with delays and stopovers, she binge listened to Tell You First. And what a treat it was. So thank you.
Yeah.
Cool,
Nice.
man. And what about your one Shiok comment?
My one Shiok comment was from our episode with Selena Tan. They said, "Selena Tan's candidness was so hilarious. Caught this episode on Spotify, so I didn't watch the video version. But was Harish giggling away like a starstruck fangirl?"
I don't know where that came from.
Were you giggling away like a starstruck fangirl?
I can be quite giggly when there's something funny, but I wouldn't say I was giggling throughout. Or maybe I was. Do you remember me giggling throughout?
No, but I think we were genuinely quite interested to ask her things about the industry, right?
Yeah.
She's been in the industry a lot longer than we have, and she's gone to Hollywood. She hung out with Lenny Kravitz when he came to Singapore during F1 and everything. So yeah, she's seen the highest of highs of the entertainment industry, and it's quite illuminating to hear her talk about the low points also, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I thought actually it was it wasn't just like a haha funny kind of thing, but actually quite informative.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just very, very enjoyable. So if I was giggling like a fangirl, then so be it, man.
You only know if you watch the video. You can see
giggling
like a fangirl.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But what is your one Shiok thing?
I need to pull mine up. Do you have yours?
Yeah. So I recently again got reminded via YouTube of someone who I used to watch a lot of videos of. He's actually a performer called Tim Minchin. And he's an Australian actor and writer and singer. And what I like about his songs, I mean, if you know how sometimes there's a time and place for all types of songs, his songs are very nicely sung, but also very funny and very smart. And it talks about things like prejudice and stuff like that, which is, very apt given our second topic. And it's him, on stage over the piano performing on a live audience. I think he's quite famous in general. So he's a comedian also. He's been performing in the comedy world since 2005. But yeah, that one video, Prejudice, very, very good song. He's like, Bo Burnham and all that.
Yeah.
Like where they can sing, but they're also so smart and witty and they write very nice songs. He's like an Australian version of that.
I see.
Tim Minchin. And the song Prejudice, very good song.
And you hear him on Spotify or?
I think he's on Spotify, but I first covered him of him on YouTube. My one Shiok thing is a YouTube video.
I see.
Yeah, that is my one Shiok thing. What about you?
Yeah, my one Shiok Thing is a trailer for a made in Singapore game that is coming out soon. The trailer's out. It's called Sedap, a culinary adventure. So it's actually a co-op cooking adventure that combines the chaos of a collaborative kitchen and the wonders of adventuring in an unexplored world. So, I mean, I not played it or anything. I just watched the trailer a little bit. Kind of like a cutesy kind of Diablo, but with like I think like a lot of like the Singaporean or regional dishes involved in the game, in terms of casting spells and things like that. So it's going to be available on PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation next March 2025.
Oh shit!
And the demo is now out on Steam. So quite cool. Sedap, the culinary adventure.
You know what sedap means?
Delicious.
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, and the trailer, it looks like a legit, man.
Yeah. And it looks like, if you like this kind of like, I don't know what style of game you would call these, but it looks Diablo-ish to me, but cutesy Diablo.
Apparently, it started as a final year project in early 2022 at NTU School of Art, Design and Media.
Yeah, correct. Wow. So yeah, someone in the comments actually says it best. It's more like overcooked mixed with Diablo. And yeah, with Southeast Asian culinary details.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Cool. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right.
So and also this weekend we didn't talk about this weekend that we'll be speaking at a conference. Yeah. So if anyone happens to be there, we should tell them also.
Yeah. If you're still listening, we're going to be speaking at the NES Summit. We're going to be doing a keynote.
And not just 1 minute, right?
Not just 1 minute.
Not just 1 minute.
Yeah, it's a keynote speech. So everybody there will be listening to us at our slot. It's happening at 3:25 on Saturday it's a 2-day event at Singapore Expo. I think there are still tickets, but our slot is at 3:25, and we'll be talking about the art of podcasting. With our acquaintance Nusair, who we have connected with over the years.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
We put a link in the show notes. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with at least one other person who may not have heard of us. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit. And
you want to work with us, please contact us at contact@ministryoffunny.com. Contact@ministryoffunny.com or just go to ministryoffunny.com to check out our work.
Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody.
That's 1 minute for you.